Hello everyone, my name is Hannah Brewer. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen along for my final project. I decided to do my project on crawling the web and web crawlers. I originally picked document and query indexing as the topic for my final project, but after learning more about web crawlers and the action of crawling the web, I found myself more interested in this topic and I decided that I wanted to do my project based on it. During this slideshow, I will discuss exactly what crawling is, knowing when to crawl, what web crawlers are and how they work, why crawling is important, and the difference between fresh and stale. In addition, I will provide my critique on the concept of crawling the web. The purpose of this first slide is to give a quick overview of what crawling the web actually is. An important quality to have in modern information storage and retrieval is knowing how to crawl the web. In technical terms, crawling can be defined as the action of finding and downloading web pages automatically. However, this definition can be kind of bland and not informative. In simpler terms, crawling the web is the action of searching for a server for public URLs or files that can be downloaded. This is usually done stealthily, so I can see why it would be referred to as crawling. The purpose of this slide is to give a quick overview of what a web crawler actually is. A web crawler can be technically defined as the program that downloads pages. However, this definition can be bland and confusing and easy to misinterpret. The action of looking throughout a server for URLs and files is known as crawling the web, but the actual program itself that does the work is the crawler. Web crawlers have a few common names and can sometimes be referred to as spider. Since spiders do crawl, I can see why this would be one of the common names for them. This slide will begin to explain how web crawlers work. First, a user can give the crawlers certain procedures or parameters they would like to follow throughout the crawl. The purpose of giving a crawler these parameters is that they do not stray away from the main purpose of the crawl. The director of the crawler can do this by assigning a set of seeds or URLs to the crawler in which they will only search for content that is similar to those seeds. This is useful for the crawl because if the crawler did not start with the seeds, they would not know which direction to go in and would likely try to collect lots of information that would not be relevant to the crawl itself. The purpose of this slide is to wrap up how web crawlers work. When conducting their crawl, web crawlers are usually in a single server. However, there are some cases that web crawlers may find links and URLs of the server that they are in that they can use to connect to a different server. This is useful when conducting a crawl because it gives you additional access to more information you may not have had access to in the past. However, there are some issues at times. Website administrators sometimes insert a robot.txt file to their page that would make it unable for web crawler to view or download any information from that page. The purpose of this slide is to begin to explain the importance of crawling the web. Crawling the web can be very important when building a search engine. Before crawlers, developers most likely spent an abundant amount of time manually downloading files and URLs. However, with crawlers, this could now be done in as little time as minutes. In addition, web crawlers can be used to find vulnerabilities within systems or assets of an organization. They can be used in the cases of penetration testing as well to see if there is adequate security measures in place for that organization or individual. The purpose of this slide is to conclude the importance of crawling the web. An additional importance is that web crawlers may be able to find things that are unseen to the naked human eye. Since it is a computer automated program, the crawler is systematically able to search and find in a way unlike a human could. Also, web crawlers can search and find information on a single topic without collecting irrelevant information. With the given parameters and seeds, the crawler looks only for URLs or files pertaining to the topic at hand. The purpose of this slide is to highlight the importance of knowing when to crawl. Since many web pages are constantly being uploaded or updated, it is important to crawl at an appropriate rate. Each website and page is different, so a rule of thumb is to crawl as often as a page is updated. An easy way to figure out this is by looking at the sitemap of a website. The sitemap will each page within the site and include the change frequency of each page. The change frequency could be daily, weekly, monthly, or never, depending on the page. So, it is important to know how often each page should be crawled. The purpose of this slide is to highlight the importance of knowing the difference between freshness of a document collection or if it is stale. When considering the rate at which you should crawl, it is important to consider freshness. Freshness can be seen as how new the last information collected from the crawl is. If your document collection is not fresh, it is considered stale. Stale can be defined as a copy that no longer reflects the real content of the web page. It is important to maintain the freshness of your document collection because if it is outdated or inaccurate information, it will not be reflected well. The purpose of this slide is to provide you all with my critique of crawling the web and using web crawlers to do so. The world of information storage and retrieval is rapidly advancing and adopting many changes and new features. The feature of crawling the web and using web crawlers is one that is relatively new but useful. Like any other tool, it is possible for a malicious actor to abuse the powers of a web crawler. However, I believe that crawling the web serves a greater good for many individuals and organizations because of the tremendous work it can do. Not only does a web crawler save abundant amount of time, but it is also to save money and workload for organizations. This tool is one that I believe will be presenting itself a whole lot more over the next few years and hopefully will transform the industry of information storage and retrieval. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to my project about web crawlers and crawling the web. This last slide is my reference slide. For any definitions or technical information that was used in this presentation, I referred back to the course textbook titled Search Engines, Information Retrieval and Practice.